All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're diving deep into all the supply chain leaks and swirling rumors around what could be one of Apple's biggest design shifts in years, the iPhone 18 Pro.
So, could this really be it? The most significant overhaul to the iPhone we've seen since they ditched the home button? All the signs are certainly pointing that way.
So here's the deal. Based on what we're hearing from some pretty reliable sources, Apple is planning something truly radical for its 2026 Pro models. And we're not just talking about moving a button or shrinking the bezels. We're talking about a fundamental change to how the phone looks and feels.
Okay, so we're throwing around this word radical, but what does that actually mean when we're talking about an iPhone? Let's break it down, starting with the part of the phone you see the most, the outside.
We're going to kick things off with the part you stare at all day, the screen. And then we'll flip it over, because the rumors about the back are, believe me, just as wild. So you know the dynamic island? That clever little pill-shaped cutout that doubles as a notification hub? Well, word on the street is it might be on its way out for the Pro models. The rumor is it's getting replaced by a tiny, single punch-hole cutout just for the camera. Now, for that to happen, the Face ID sensors would have to be hidden under the display, which, if they pull it off, would give us a way more immersive all-screen look.
Now, the tech that makes this all possible has a super technical name, HIAA, or Hole in Active Area. But don't worry about the jargon. All you really need to know is that it's the manufacturing magic trick that lets Apple poke that tiny camera hole right into the screen itself, getting rid of the need for a big notch or pill.
Okay, but the screen is just the start. And this next part, this is where things get really interesting. The rumors suggest Apple is actually testing a transparent or maybe a translucent back cover. And yeah, that might sound a little familiar.
Yup, your mind probably went straight to the Nothing phone, right? This would be a huge departure for Apple. They're famous for that super clean, minimalist aesthetic. So to suddenly pivot and start showing off the guts of the phone, that's a whole different design philosophy. And it suggests they might be rethinking how we look at our tech.
So a wild new design is one thing, but what about what's ticking away under all that potentially transparent glass? Well, the rumored upgrades on the inside sound like they're going to be just as big of a deal.
Of course, you can't have a new iPhone Pro without a beefed-up camera system, and it looks like it's getting some serious love, starting with a massive resolution bump in a place you might not expect.
Get this, a 48-megapixel sensor for the telephoto lens. That is huge. It would basically bring the zoom lens up to the same incredible high-resolution standard as the main camera. Just think about how detailed those zoomed-in shots are going to be.
But it's not just about packing in more megapixels. We're also hearing whispers about a variable aperture for the main camera, which is awesome for getting more creative with your photos. Plus, a new stacked image sensor for even better low-light performance. Oh, and for those who like the look, that big horizontal camera bar? Yeah, it seems like it's not going anywhere. And of course, to run all this new camera tech, you're going to need some serious horsepower. That's where the next generation A20 Pro chip is expected to come in, and it's supposedly being built with some seriously cutting-edge technology.
Okay, so you see this term 2-nanometer process, and you're probably like, what on earth does that mean? Here's the simple version. Making the transistors on a chip smaller means you can fit way more of them in, and that translates to a processor that's not only a lot faster, but also a lot more power efficient. Better performance, better battery life. It's the ultimate win-win.
And speaking of that battery life, the Pro Max model might be getting its own special upgrade, a new steel shell battery. This could be a big deal for things like durability and maybe even helping the phone stay a bit cooler.
All right, so we've got a wild new design on the outside and a beast of an engine on the inside, but why now? Why such a massive change? To really get that, we kind of have to zoom out and look at Apple's long game.
And it's not just the big-ticket items. There are a bunch of other smaller, but still cool rumors floating around. Screen sizes are likely staying the same as the iPhone 17 Pro. We might finally get Apple's own in-house modem. There's talk of better cooling, some new colors, brown or purple maybe, and even a simplified camera button. It all adds up.
But you really have to look at the calendar to see what might be going on here. The iPhone 18 Pro, with this huge redesign, is pegged for 2026. And that day is really important because it's just 1 year before a massive anniversary for Apple.
You got it. 2027 marks 20 years since the very first iPhone. So the thinking is that the iPhone 18 Pro isn't actually the final destination. It's the big, flashy setup for what could be a truly historic 20th anniversary device. So if the iPhone 18 Pro is just a stepping stone, what's the destination? Where is Apple actually trying to go with all this? Well, it seems like their ultimate vision is something we've been hearing about for years.
It's the holy grail of smartphone design, a seamless slab of glass. I mean, that's the dream, right? A perfect, uninterrupted piece of technology with no bumps, no ports, no cutouts, just screen.
And that really brings us to our final question. Are the punch-hole camera and the transparent back of the iPhone 18 Pro just waypoints on a journey to an iPhone that's truly uninterrupted? A future with no ports, no buttons, and no camera cutouts at all? I guess we're all going to have to wait and see.